a divorce is on the card for 2025 or 2026. This marriage is in the celebrity death pool.
I was seen hugging them goodbye, and Harry saw this and went completely ballistic. I can confirm breaking news that is entirely true.
Piers Morgan has just confirmed what I first told you last April. His relationship with Princess Eugenie has now destroyed her relationship with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. That is how thin-skinned the Sussex losers really are. Lots to get into today because Maureen Callahan of the Daily Mail has also predicted divorce for the couple within 1 or 2 years. Then we'll get analysis from Prince Harry's biographer, our royal mastermind, Angela Levin. But first, let's look at what happened when Maureen Callahan spoke about exactly what she's hearing stateside about the status of this failing marriage between H&M.
The view in America is that a divorce is on the card for 2025 or 2026. This marriage is in the celebrity death pool. They have been choked off of any and all information pertaining to the royals. And it is so dire that Harry only learned that King Charles had been hospitalized for complications due to his cancer treatment on the news. Meghan is busying herself over here with launching podcast number 2, which nobody wants to listen to, with prepping her jams and preserves for sale at Netflix stores in a couple of malls in this entire country. She has she's hawking her wedding makeup, her 8-year-old wedding makeup on her website with affiliate links so she can get a cut. You know, this is where her mind is at, while Harry's father is in the fight of his life, while his brother, as we know from Jason Nauf, had the worst year of his life, absolutely brutal, with the dual cancer diagnosis.
So, Angela Levin, I'm going to come to this Piers Eugenie fallout in just one moment. But first, what do you make of Maureen Callahan saying the word in America is there could be a divorce this year or next?
Well, I actually thought it would be after 2 years, so I've got that wrong very late. But I think she'll wait until she's got everything going with all her cookery and all that, and non-cookery. And I think that she will still need him as a voice, or for 2 minutes, as he did, and the 8th thing for her cooking thing. And so she wanted just to have someone say, "You're wonderful." And he will say it, of course, 100,000 times. So she does need him still a bit. And I think people are more interested in the rod than they are in her. But he's obviously crumbling altogether, and she doesn't really want that. I mean, when we knew what was happening and the argument, and she was sort of in the garden with the dog and having a nice cup of tea. So she's not trying to show that she's worried. She's trying to show I couldn't care less. So I think it could happen any time. It's just not worked throughout. And I think it would be to her decision whether he goes or not. But it's hugely complicated because what happens to the two children? Where does Harry we've seen that because he wasn't even told about his father's difficult moment, what they call it, bump in the road, about his problems, that he's, it's very, very difficult to know what's going to happen because they really don't want him in the UK. So it seems also that his friends aren't after him because he's been so bad about the royal family. So I don't think you never say that. It depends what happens, doesn't it? Lots of things can happen.
Indeed. Well, Angela, I think that's funny. You gave it 2 years. Do you know what? I've always given it 10 years because there's going to be a degree of Harry desperately trying to make things work because no one wants to be away from their young children. However, the way that Meghan continues to put huge issues between Harry and his family, I actually think, Angela, I'm going to use this word, it's twisted. It's evil. Eugenie was pretty much the one person in the royal family who was a bit of a conduit, a bit of a go-between between Buckingham Palace and Montecito. But because of this friendship with Piers Morgan, that is now all.
The Duchess is done playing second fiddle, he sneered with that trademark deadpan, and Harry's about to find out what a solo act really looks like. The timing couldn't be more pointed, coming on the heels of Meghan's recent Instagram stunt that overshadowed Harry's emotional BBC interview. Sources paint a picture of a prince unhinged, pacing his Montecito mansion, his voice rising as he rails against the rumors. Is this a marriage on the brink, or just another chapter in the Sussex soap opera? *** Harry's reaction, according to those in the know, was explosive. A friend close to the couple told The Sun that he lost it, slamming doors and unleashing a tirade against Morgan's claims. This outburst follows months of tension, with Meghan increasingly carving out her own path solo appearances at charity events, a revived deal with William Moore's Endeavour, and whispers of a memoir in the works. Harry, meanwhile, has been tied to his Invictus Games commitments and quiet reconciliation talks with King Charles III, efforts now jeopardized by this scandal. The irony isn't lost. While Harry seeks to mend familial bonds, Meghan's independence fuels speculation of a rift.
I first reported on this last year. However, Piers has now confirmed it on his YouTube show Uncensored Watch.
Yes.
Got nothing to do with himself. The reports are that he is lonelier than ever in Montecito. He has no friends. He has zero relationship with his family. We just read that he cut off Eugenie, Princess Eugenie. And so what is he going to do with all this unstructured time?
Hang on, I'm glad you mentioned that.
On how many ways his life has gone wrong.
Well, that was because of me, actually, the Eugenie thing, because she was having lunch with me and a group of people in a pub in London, and I was seen hugging them goodbye, and Harry saw this and went completely ballistic. I can confirm breaking news, that is entirely true.
Doing the Lord's work, Piers.
Sorry?
Yeah, so it's extremely grim, and it seems that he is isolating himself further and further. And Meghan can do a cute little video over at Gwyneth's house, but if she thinks Gwyneth is really welcoming her into this contracting health and wellness space for women, she's even more delusional than we thought.
So, Angela, confirmation there that Harry has now no contact whatsoever with the royal family, because Eugenie was like the last link.
Yes, she absolutely was. And partly because she's a very caring person, and she used to mend arguments and make everything all right for quite a long time. And she felt very much for Harry and with Meghan, and that she tried to be very nice. But if you're a mother with two children, which she now is, she's not going to let someone tell her who she can and can't have a drink with in a place, in a club, or and
of course, so because there were other celebrities there, like James Blunt.
There were a few of them there, all together, chatting away, having a drink, enjoying themselves. Now, you know, the great Meghan is not going to stop people doing that, and I imagine that Harry was furious with her because she's upset Meghan. Meghan and Eugenie were friends really just a bit before Harry got to know Meghan. So, you know, she must have been absolutely blowing up that that Eugenie was actually seeing someone who she didn't want her to. Now, you know, this is an open world, isn't it? Up to a certain extent, she can't control her.
No, of course not. And that's Piers with his lovely wife, Celia Walden, the Daily Telegraph columnist, a really great person, but also someone who is helpful for Eugenie and Beatrice to have communication with. You know, they're operating in London. They've got to do what's right for their life and their career. And I find it really disgusting, actually, that they would put Eugenie and Beatrice under that type of pressure when they had done their best. And remember, it's pretty much been defending the indefensible within the royal family. And after that Oprah Winfrey interview, I remember speaking to friends of Beatrice and Eugenie at the time, Angela, and they said they were equally disgusted, thought it was terrible what Harry and Meghan did with that interview. But obviously they're forgiving souls, as you say, they're kind. They wanted to find a way to try and bring the family back together. But that will not happen now, because this reporting from The Sun over the weekend, Angela, is just devastating in terms of the fact that Harry hasn't spoken to anyone in the family for months, was not informed of the announcement that Charles was in hospital because he could not be trusted not to leak it. This is now total isolation.
Do you know why they've said they didn't tell him? Apparently, I don't know if this was an excuse or true, that from the palace, that because he lives so far away, they didn't want to really worry him, so that he felt he would have to come because it's only a minor event. And actually, now that the king is working already today, you can choose which one you liked. But I think that was probably done because they don't want him, the king, disturbed by Harry shouting or saying something wrong or making him...
I mean, the thing is, Angela, I just don't buy it. Look, the palace are probably trying to protect his feelings. The reality is they don't trust Harry and Meghan for very good reason, given the way that they parrot things immediately to the American media. Why on earth should they trust them? Why does he have a right to know, given the way that he's treated Charles and Camilla, by the way? And I just want to make a point about Camilla here as well, Angela, because you know the fury that Harry feels at Eugenie for going to this drinks event with Piers Morgan, these private drinks with Piers Morgan, where they were not in public, by the way, they just happened to be packed, which is the only reason Harry...
He's shouting at shadows, a source quipped dryly, while she's out there living her best life. The contrast is stark, and it's stoking the fire of public doubt. Asterisk, this isn't the first time Morgan has targeted the Sussexes, but his latest salvo feels personal. He's pointed to Meghan's increasing distance her separate professional endeavors, the lack of joint appearances as evidence of a marriage fraying at the edges. She's rehearsing for life without the prince, he declared, his tone dripping with mockery. Harry's meltdown, insiders say, stems from a fear of losing not just his wife, but the carefully curated image they've built, the Netflix fallout. Where with Love, Meghan was canned amid stage scene allegations, already dented their brand, now this. He's shouting because he knows the truth hurts, a commentator noted with a wry smile. The public, tired of polished performances, is leaning in, hungry for the raw reality beneath the gloss. The climax arrives with the leaked details of Harry's eruption.
Can you imagine how furious he was about the fact that Camilla went for a lunch at Fortnum & Mason's, not only attended by Piers Morgan, but Jeremy Clarkson too? So clearly, they've cut contact with the Queen as well.
Those two are people that Meghan and Harry can't stand because they've been rude about Meghan. And Queen Camilla absolutely won't take any notice of that. She'll see people and do exactly what she likes. She wouldn't not see people because Harry or Meghan didn't like it.
No. And why should she not, Angela? Why should she not? Meanwhile, the scandal involving the Centre Barley charity, which has seen Prince Harry accused of racism, harassment, and being part of a cover-up, has just got worse overnight, Angela. He has now been thrown under the bus by one of his allies, one of Meghan's allies, which I'll come to in just a moment. But one of his current friends, I would argue, has done him a real disservice by speaking to the Daily Mail and claiming that he's speaking on behalf of Prince Harry, and actually, I think, making the situation a whole load worse. So let me take you through this, Angela. It's Alex Rayner. He is an old Etonian school friend of the Prince who went to the North Pole with him in 2012. And he has told the Daily Mail today, and these are his words, Angela, this is him being quoted, H is very happy for me to speak for him about how he feels about this awful situation. He is just beyond heartbroken and flabbergasted that the charity he founded as a teenager has been taken hostage by the chair. It feels tantamount to a hostile takeover. But then this is where it gets really bad, Angela. He says, it feels like Dr. Sophie Chandoka had her nose put out of joint because she was not the most important woman of colour on the stage. There is an undercurrent of stink here because Meghan showed up and it is coming from her. Yet Alex Rayner said the chair should never have let that narrative take hold, that Meghan had caused an issue. If that narrative did take hold, then I would argue it is down to the chair to put it right. They could have issued a statement and put a stop to it, but they did not. Why? Again, the whole thing smells, it feels planned, and I suspect that the whole thing could only have come from the chair herself. Well, to me, Angela, that is totally tone deaf, really, really terrible. And I just want to show you a new clip, Angela, as well, which shows Meghan acting like a mean girl on the day of the charity event. See that there? That's with her best friend. She completely ignores Dr. Sophie Chandoka and goes to hold the hand of her best friend. Come on! Who's in the wrong here? It's pretty damn obvious to me. And I don't think Alex Rayner, speaking on behalf of Harry, has made this any better, do you?
No, I think it's made it worse because he's also said that probably Sophie was jealous of Meghan.
Oh.
She's actually jealous of Meghan. And of course,
and we know it's the other way around. It's so obviously the other way around.
But this was said too, if you remember, that Catherine was also jealous of Meghan.
Oh, yeah.
And she seems to think that's the way she gets out of it. If people criticise her, one way out is to say, well, they're jealous of me. You know, I'm beautiful, I'm clever, I'm the most amazing woman everybody's ever known. And it's very interesting. But I think it was very badly done. And that picture beforehand, when she grabs her friend's hand and absolutely ignores Dr. Sophie Chandoka, is absolutely unbearably rude. Now, we all know that if you don't like somebody, that's fine. You just nod your head, hello, and move on. But you don't actually make it obvious that you want nothing to do with you, and I've got a friend here and you haven't. But what's really annoyed me since the moment it was done was actually squashing her in the queue. I mean, she's done nothing, Meghan, with the polo, absolutely nothing. She wasn't involved in it, not at all. And to sort of push her, so she has to feel so ashamed, but by going underneath the award and then sit there because the great Meghan doesn't want to on one side or other side of her husband. Now, to do that in front of thousands of people really says to you something very serious about a woman like that. You know,
and Dr. Sophie Chandoka, by the way, an incredibly accomplished woman, has never sought the limelight, Angela, like Meghan Markle. And I think it is just worth looking at exactly what happened on stage again.
Thank you very much, Andrew Tucker, for putting on such a great day here at again, a big thank you to all those who provided horses.
Now, she humiliated Dr. Sophie Chandoka. It was obvious she didn't want her standing next.
Sources claim he confronted Meghan, accusing her of fueling the rumors. With her solo focus, the argument, they say, was heated, with Harry slamming Meghan's lies while Meghan defended her independence. A friend recounted Harry's words, "You're leaving me to twist in the wind. The irony is thick while." He once championed her autonomy. He now sees it as betrayal. Piers, ever the opportunist, doubled down, predicting a split by year's end. Mark my words, he said with a grin.
Was also completely unnecessary, Angela. I mean, the mainstream media didn't pick up on this at the time, but we did. We spoke about it at the time because the behaviour was so poor. Now we've seen this clip of her ignoring Dr. Sophie Chandoka before she went up on stage. Why on earth should Dr. Sophie speak out to defend Meghan when Meghan was clearly in the wrong?
Yes, but then to be told by Harry that you have to apologise and you have to tell a whole lot of press people that Meghan's delightful and she's wonderful and you have to clear the way for her. And she said, quite rightly, Dr. Sophie said, no, I'm not going to. I'm not a part of your PR. And that's quite right. I mean, she's a very educated woman. And why should she do that? It's not her job. But that's how things have got between them and what Meghan feels. And as time goes by, towards maybe these 5 or 6 years wedding, that she's now grown so big-headed that she won't see anything what it really is like. It's all about what a genius she is, and we all know she's not. And she couldn't care less about anybody.
Indeed, and Angela Levin, the thing that you really need to think about this too is that it's not the first time, and it won't be the last. Queer Lips of Truth, which is doing some really, really good work on X at the moment, put this list together, Angela. Think about all the people Prince Harry has pressured to issue statements about his wife, who always leaves many crying in their wake. And look at the list, Angela. The New York Police Department, Archewell staff, South African staff, Australian staff, Buckingham Palace staff, Kensington Palace staff, Centre Bali, Invictus Games, Gavin Newsom, Uvalde survivors' family. I mean, there is such a track record here.
And then you can be like us, a line or two down, that we get attacked by this, by them through the things that they write and the emails that they sent, which are actually also extremely rude. They don't upset me because I take no notice of them. I'm sure you're the same, but actually they will do it to anybody who doesn't agree with Meghan. Do what you're told from Meghan and listen to Harry, because he's the one who deals with the nasty bit, who has to tell people. She doesn't do it herself. If you notice that she's often, not concerned as if it hasn't happened. But of course it has happened, but she sends it off to someone else, and then Harry sent it off to someone else. And we're not going to take it anymore. It's so clear what she's like. And it's just not worth fighting too hard, because she's actually making herself just a sort of stupid woman, really.
Indeed. And of course, Angela, you are referring to the fact that Prince Harry sent this unpleasant and imperious message to the charity boss, as reported by the Daily Telegraph tomorrow. A couple of other good pieces on this that I've seen, Angela. Melanated Mona posted on X, Buckingham Palace continues to hide the bullying allegations. The child you refused to teach good manners and covered up his atrocities at every turn will be taught the home training he lacks outside. It's already happening. And I do think Buckingham Palace will come under increasing pressure over that bullying report.
Yes, I'm sure they will. He is actually a continued nuisance now, isn't he?
Yeah.
And there's nothing they can do about it, really. But he was brought up nicely. He had very good manners, but now it's all aggression. You see, if you're really aggressive, you're not going to have good manners, because that's a waste of time, and you're not going to try and pretend that they're nice, or you want to work together and understand and compromise. Oh no, it's, I demand. I think that's what made Dr. Sophie Chandorkar feel very angry. He wasn't there to demand what she had to do and what she had to say. And this was very rude when he decided to stand down last week and didn't tell her. And so nobody knew, any of the 500 people who work there at the charity. And that is really bad manners. And so it was leaving her with a terrible mess and a terrible discussion to have. And he couldn't have cared less about it. So I think he's into this, never mind you, this is just about me, but more importantly about Meghan.
Very good point. Richard Palmer, the former Daily Express royal editor, had posted about this, Angela. Can Prince Harry's Southern African charity, a key part of his legacy, survive without him? And Lesotho's Prince Siyiso, a weekend read, which he had reported on the clash over culture and money at Centre Bali, that has left even those who fell out with him feeling sad for Harry. But according to Taz, responded to that saying, I don't feel sad for Harry at all. I feel sad for the children Centre Bali is meant to help. It looks as though Harry and Meghan's decision to attack the royal family so publicly for monetary gain has had a ripple effect on donations going to Centre Bali. And that is the truth, isn't it, Angela? All of these people talking about Prince Harry's mental health. What about these poor, underprivileged young people in Lesotho and Botswana, some of the most deprived parts of the world, where Harry's behaviour has directly impacted the ability for the charity to make money. And let's be honest about it, Angela, not just Harry's behaviour, Meghan Markle's behaviour too.
Yes, well, she hasn't even been there. I mean,
and Dr. Sophie had to beg Harry to go. By the way, he hadn't been for 5 years.
6, I think, wasn't it?
6 years. I mean, it's crazy.
Yes, but Meghan refused to go, and all this talk about she loves Africa and all the talk about looking after children. Why didn't she go? Why didn't she go with Harry? Very important. This is one of the huge things that meant an awful lot to him. So as a wife, she should go there. But if she wants to make, some strawberry jam instead, it doesn't look good, does it?
The Sussex divorce will be the story of 2026. The internet erupted, with memes of Harry shouting at a mirror and Meghan posing solo flooding Twitter. Viewers are calling it the most disturbing twist yet, a marriage unraveling in real time.